Hello everyone, myself Manoj Kumar. Welcome to our YouTube channel Learn World. Today I am here with a new concept from the database management system, that is DBMS, that is data models. First we will go to understand what is data models. Here in this previous lectures we came to know that what is data and what is information. So there is a lot of difference between data and information. For example, if you have a raw data or raw information, that called as data, and information is a filtered one, like a important one which we have extracted from the bunch of data. For example, if we call if there is a database of university, then all the students which are included are the data. But if we extract only the students which belongs to Department of Computer Science from the university database, then it's called a information. So in this today's lecture we will come to know that how the data is organized, that is modeled, that is structured, we're going to learn today. So first one, we'll start with hierarchical model. So in this model we are going to organize the data in hierarchical model. Like this database model organizes data into a tree-like structure. Tree-like structure, we can see here tree-like means it's not a exactly like a tree-like structure. It is a tree-like, but it is a inverted one, means it's the opposite to a tree-like structure. That we starts with a root, that is a college, and then we'll grow with department, infrastructure, course, teacher, and etc. So tree-like structure with a single root, like here we see a single root, that is a college. We don't have multiple roots. If you consider these are not the roots, these are the childrens of a parent college, and this college is referred as a root node, and to which all other data is linked. Here see, we can that all the data that is belongs to college are linked, like department is linked with the college, and infrastructure also linked with the college. In the same way, course, teacher, student, theory, and labs. The hierarchy starts from the root data and expands like a tree, adding children's node to the parent node. Here in this model we can see that there is a root node like a college, and it is also act as a parent node to only to the department and infrastructure. As we grow, there is a again some child nodes like a course, teacher, and students. Course, teacher, and students are the child nodes to the department, and here department act as a parent node. It's not a root node. Root node is college. Here only the only node root node is the college, and how we are going to expand those things are called as a parent node to these course, teacher, and student. Here also theory and labs are childrens of a course. So course act like a parent, and theory and labs are the children nodes. In this database model, data is more related as more relationships are established in this database model. For example, sorry, okay. In this model, a child node will only have a single parent node. In this structure, we can say that there is a child nodes like department and infrastructure are the child nodes of a college. So in this model, all the child nodes only have a single parent. For example, department and infrastructure are the children of the college, that is a root node, and also it is a parent node. And here course, teacher, and students are the children's, and its parent is only a single parent. And here also theory and labs are the children's, and course is the parent node. In hierarchical model, data is organized into tree-like structure with one-to-many relationship between two different entities. One-to-many relation means there is a one entity which is related to other entity with a multiple one. Here one is related with the department and infrastructure. Here department is related with course, teacher, student. So department is related with course, one to many, course, teacher, and students. And for example, one department can have many courses, many professors, and of course many students, as we see here. Next one, network model. This is an extension of the hierarchical model. Here we are going to study that network model, which will be pronounced as a extension of a hierarchical model. How and why? Because here we can see that it's look like a tree, but there is a multiple relations to a multiple entities. Like in previous hierarchical model, we saw that there is a single entity and related with the means those are single. Some children have only one parent, but here we can see that this children has a multiple parents and we have a multiple ways to access the same data. And in this model, data is organized more like a graph and are allowed to have a more than one parent node. It is more related to graph because graphs have a nodes and connecting edges. So these are the entities are act as a nodes, and connecting edges are relationships that how they are connected and how to access them. Can we access C2 by only B1 or B2? So these are the relations how we are going to access the data. In this database model, data is more related as a relationships are established in this database model, because in the hierarchy model we can see that there is a single parent to a single child, but in this model we can see that there is a multiple parents to a single child. If this one is the busy node, then we can access this data from the B2 entity also, not only B1. So there is a more relationship to the single entity. Also, as the data is more related, hence accessing the data is easier and fast. This database model was used to map many to many relationships. Here we can see that this single, if you consider this one, this has a many to many relationships because many entities are related with this, and it is also related to many entities, different means child entities also. This model is good to design a database which can then be turned into a tables in relational model. As we discussed in database management system, if we found any word like a relational model, then we should understand that it's an in the form of table. So in this model is very good to okay here. This was the most widely used database model before relational model was introduced. Until this, the relational model was not introduced. So that until that network model was very widely used to store the data. Next one is entity relationship model. So what is entity, what is relationship, and what is model? So entity is the real world object which is present in the real world. Like what is entity? Entity, if you consider any real world object like a department. Department is the entity. So what are the attributes? It is entity means it should have some attributes also. So what are those attributes? In like a department, it is an entity, then it has attributes like department name, department location, department courses, faculties, students, lecture, teachers. So all these are the attributes of the entity. So how this entity are related with each other, so that will be considered as a model. So in this database model, relationships are created by dividing objects of interest into entity and its characteristics into attributes. This one is the considered as an entity. Student is an entity because he is present, she is present in the real world. So he has some attributes like name, student has a name, student has a ID, student has a address, and student has a age, and some like a student has a mobile number, student has a gender, and so these all are considered as the attributes of a entity student. So this student known as entity, and remaining all the characteristics properties are considered as a attributes. So different entities are related using relationships. So here we can see that there is no relationship we constructed, but if we have many other relations with the student like a teacher, so we can draw her relation here, and we can draw many other entities which are related with the student. Entity relationship models are defined to represent the relationships into pictorial form to make it easier for the different stakeholders to understand. So this is the easiest one, because if you saw directly what this diagram, then we can get directly that here there is an entity called a student, and this student has a property, or we can say attributes, or some characteristics, or like a name, ID, address, and age. So this one is the easiest one, and we have defined the entity relationship model in the pictorial form, or we can say diagrammatic form. So it is the easiest one to understand. This model is good to design a database which can then be turned into tables in the relational model. So this is a pictorial form. After that we can convert these things into the tables like a relational model. So last one is, and very widely used in the present situation, is relational model. In this model, data is organized in two-dimensional tables and the relationships is maintained by storing a common field. Here, data is organized as we discussed in earlier. Relational model means we should understand that there is a table. Table means two-dimensional, rows and columns like this. There is a rows and columns. We can say it is in a two-dimensional structure, and we can store maintain by storing a common field. Common field like a here student id and name. Student id have a id as one and name as a account, means we can store the data like this so that we can easily understand that row student name account has a student id 1 and age as a 17 years. This model was introduced by EF Cord in 1970, and since then it has been the most widely used database model. In fact, we can say the only database model used around the world. This is the most famous one because this one is the easiest from the other database models, because in the other database model we can see that there is this one is structure we should understand, and we should understand the diagram, then we have to create any other attributes if we have like a name, it has a first name, middle name, last name. So it is a pictorial form, it will not be clear in here also. One data is connected to another one, so we need to understand but connectivity, and here also how they are connected, one to one, how the parent child relationship, so we have to understand. But in this relationship, in the relational model, we don't need to understand more. Here we can see directly that student id, name and age are in a single row, so it is very easy to understand. This basic structure of data in the relational model is tables. That is we have discussed. Relational model means we should understand it. It is a tables. All the information related to a particular type is stored in a row of that table. So for example, particular information of a particular student. Student ID 1, his name is Akon and his name is age. In the last, as we discussed, student ID is 4, name is Deacon and age is 18. Hence, tables are also known as relations in the relational model. As we discussed in the database management system, if it comes to a relations or relational model, it should be understand that it is an table. There is a table in which we are going to store all the data. So these are the some things about the database model. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel Learn World. Thank you.